a lot going on this week. It's Tuesday, and the House and Senate leadership met at the White House to talk about the shutdown that is looming once again, and also to talk about the border. Now, the way it was described by the House Minority Leader and the House Majority Leader, both Democrats, was very intense, very productive. In other words, they put the screws on Mike Johnson. What are you doing? Are you going to have a shutdown? Are you really going to sink Ukraine because Donald Trump told you to? You can just imagine the strong arming that went on in that meeting. So perhaps Biden is more active, more effective, tougher than Republicans would have you believe. Well, we'll see what happens, and if we really do have a shutdown. I suspect we won't, because it is such bad politics, even for Republicans. Meanwhile, there are further signs that Biden is pretty effective. This week, Sweden officially got voted into NATO. We have added 2 countries to NATO. This is the organization, of course, that Donald Trump would destroy and has invited Putin to attack. But Biden has expanded it as he has taken the threat from Putin more seriously than his predecessor, and even perhaps than 2 presidents before him, because recall that Putin invaded Georgia and Crimea in the 2 previous administrations. So Biden, once again, being tough. He's now also on the offense of 2 issues that used to be a sore point with Democrats. First is on crime. On Wednesday, when you will be viewing this, he's inviting a slew of big city police chiefs to the White House, and they're going to talk about the $15 billion he allocated under the American Rescue Plan for things like keeping cops on the payroll, paying for streetlights that help cut down on crime, and, of course, mental health interveners who reduce, de-escalate situations with the police. So with the crime rate actually plummeting, something you won't read about very often, and Biden having police chiefs meet with him at the White House, I think, thinks that this can at least be neutralized and maybe tipped to Biden's advantage, rather. After all, isn't Trump responsible for crime? 91 counts? He's his own crime spree. Well, there's another issue that Biden hopes to capitalize on, and that is the border. On Thursday, he is making a trip to the southern border because, after all, he encouraged and approved a tough bipartisan border control bill, which, of course, Donald Trump and the Republicans in the House sunk because they would rather have the issue than have a solution. So I think you're going to see Biden try again to neutralize this issue, which has been a big Republican selling point, and maybe win over some people who say, listen, Trump didn't do anything about the border. At least Biden is trying. That's the hope, at any rate. And then there's the IVF issue. When Republicans decided that they wanted to eviscerate Roe v. Wade and support things like personhood, meaning life begins and deserves complete protection from the moment of fertilization, they assured us, no, we're not talking about outlawing abortion in case of rape or incest. Wrong, they are. We're not talking about contraception. Wrong, they are. We're not talking about IVF. Oh, yes, they are. And the decision by a religious fanatical judge in Alabama, essentially outlawing IVF, has raised the hackles of the American people. And you can tell Republicans are in a panic. They are backpedaling as fast as they can possibly do. But you know what? There's no place to run, because that's what they are for. They may not want to admit it, but once you say women aren't competent to make their own bodily decisions, they don't get to choose when and how to have kids, well, then it's all things can be regulated by your friendly legislature or your friendly court. It's just you, your doctor, the legislature, and the state Supreme Court. So that's enough to, I think, get the voters riled up. So I think when you put all that together, And you have the prospect, God willing, that there may be a ceasefire in Gaza. Things are looking pretty well for the president. Now, God bless her, Nikki Haley is staying in there for at least the short term. We'll see how long she lasts. But in the meantime, I think Biden keeps on showing he's effective and keeps on underscoring that Trump is chaos, crazy, division, dissension. And didn't we have enough of that? Weren't we exhausted at the end of the Trump years? So I think that's what Biden has in mind for the rest of the year. If you enjoyed this program and you join our other programs, please tell your friends. They can click right there and follow, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever they get their podcasts. Bye-bye.